This is Peta Credlin. She's been called the most powerful woman in politics. She's also been called controlling, divisive, aggressive, a hate figure, the Queen of No, and Horsewoman of the Apocalypse. Okay, now there are two widely held beliefs about the reasons for the name calling. One, because she made pretty bad political decisions, and two, because she's a woman. Last night, for the first time in a long time, Credlin made a public appearance as part of a panel of high-profile women. She spoke about what it's like being a woman in politics, and the upshot is that it's a bit shit.
If I was a guy, I wouldn't be bossy, I'd be strong. If I was a guy, I wouldn't be a micromanager, I'd be across my brief. If I wasn't strong, determined, controlling, and got them into government from opposition, I might add, then I would be weak and not up to it and should have to go and could be replaced.
Guardian reporter and woman Bridie Jabor reckons it's not entirely a lose-lose situation, but
I think from that quote you can take that women have to be 10 times better than their male counterparts to get to the same position, and then they don't get enough room to mess up or make mistakes as men get.
This was Credlin's first public appearance since Tony Abbott's ousting last Monday, and she used it to pretty much tell her critics to
shut the fuck up!
And if you're a cabinet minister or a journalist and you're intimidated by the Chief of Staff of the Prime Minister, well, maybe you don't deserve your job.
Damn, that just made me snap, yo.
But the question on everyone's lips came out of the former Prime Minister's late last year.
Do you really think, Lyndall, that my Chief of Staff would be under this kind of criticism if her name was P-E-T-E-R as opposed to P-E-T-A?
I think she definitely would have still been criticised. I think that the way that she ran that office wasn't sustainable. She micromanaged, she tried to manage the appointments of ministers when she should have stayed out of that. She sat in on cabinet meetings, which she shouldn't have been doing, and she also ran a very combative media strategy.
But, and there is a big but,
I think that her gender did have something to do with it, and I think that she came under criticism fairly quickly. At the beginning, if a man had taken on some of the admittedly bad strategies that she did, such as sitting in on cabinet, it wouldn't have been so commented upon.
The double standards expected of men and women in positions of power stretches well beyond politics. We know this. And it comes down to representation.
You want women in places where they can make a difference, because half the policy of this country is for us, but only about 1/10 of it is by us.
Women might make up half the population, but in Parliament they make up 33%. As barristers, 25%, on ASX 200 boards, 20%, and as CEOs, 3.5%. And the only way to change that is long-term.
Keep putting women in positions of power, keep recognising women's role, and keep doing it until it becomes a normal thing. And we aren't talking about a female in power or the first female this or the first female that. It's just a normal thing that happens.
As of last week, Credlin is no longer boss, nor does she intend on a career in politics, which is a shame because by all accounts she's a fierce political operator who, at the very least, would have pushed that 33% stat in the right direction.